Well, Cavs fans, the Cavaliers walk out 134-110 winners over LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. I would say this was a pretty big statement win, Spence. I was there to see a little bit of it in person. I had to get home, but I knew you had us covered for the post-game stuff, so you can give us some thoughts on what was kind of said after the game. But man, what a win for the Cavs tonight. They keep it rolling, 5-0. Still referencing that 2016-17 season when they started. I forget off the top of my head exactly what it was, but it was also the last time they started 5-0. And they are the only undefeated team left in the Eastern Conference. Only one of two teams still undefeated in the NBA as a whole. And I think you win this game tonight, it certainly gets some people certainly paying more attention to you in the grand scheme of the NBA landscape. So I thought it was a pretty important one tonight, especially with LeBron coming back into town. That's always an emotional thing. But to sort of put on a show in front of him felt pretty special in that building tonight, Spence.
It did, and the energy was electric from the jump, man. It just looked like Donovan wanted to take all of that attention that was on Bronny and Bron the entire night and just say, you know what, this is my place now. And what did he do? He came
F
out of
it.
the gate. He came out of the gate 5 of 6, had 15 points, 3 assists. He was just on fire. The first 6 minutes of the game set the tone for this entire thing. And it just brought everybody to their feet. It was pretty much a sold-out experience, I think, and you could hear it at least from where we were sitting. So it was a very fun game, a very up-tempo game for the Cavs, forcing a ton of turnovers again, shooting the lights out at least at the beginning of the game, and again a total team effort, dude. Like, we're gonna keep going back to the same thing over and over again until something doesn't go their way. But it's been a team game since the first tip in Toronto, and it's continued on and on and on. And it sounds like the most cliche stuff ever, but it's the allocation of minutes, it's the field goal attempts, and it's the general sharing of the ball. 37 assists tonight. Terrific job by these Cavs, and against a very good opponent who was 3-1 coming in and had a lot of success before that.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, we talked about the first 3 games of the season were the first 3 games of the season. You weren't really playing the most talented teams, but you win against the Knicks, which is again is a team that has obviously given the Cavs some trouble in recent years. Now you get one against the Lakers. I think this is we kind of talked about a pregame, but this or in our podcast earlier today, but this next sort of stretch of games is where it feels like the what we're saying about this Cavaliers team can become real for people. Like, you and I are seeing it in real time in that building, but people on the outside looking in maybe are still like skeptical of like, is this all going to come together? Is it just kind of like the honeymoon phase? But I think if the more of these types of opponents that they can beat and the more wins that they can stack together, the more people are going to start to understand the truth behind this thing. But yeah, I mean, like, dude, it is crazy to see, just like night from last year to this year, the pace that this team plays with, the way that they're moving the ball around. I mean, I made a comment to you in the first half of this game, Spence, that last year there were so many moments where they were playing in the half court and there was just different opportunities for guys to play iso ball, whether it was Karis LeVert or Donovan or Darius or whatever, like bench guys or starters. And this year they're making every extra pass. And there's a guy open in the corner and they know he's there and they get it to him and he knocks down the shot, or they drive and they find somebody under the basket. You talked about Darius Garland, emphasizing a part of his game from his All-Star season where he drives and is a threat that way. But and I like the way you described it to me at the game, where it's kind of like an RPO in on the basketball court where he has a chance to kind of decide where he's going with the ball. This is only the second time we've gotten a chance to see this in person, but like, I just continue to be impressed by how the pace they're playing with, the options that are out there on the floor because of how they're sort of setting up, how quickly they're going from one end of the floor to the other to sort of get in their offensive sets, and the unselfishness that this team plays with, which goes back to what you said, Spence, just about how everybody on this team is contributing and it's not just one guy.
They're moving the ball with the pass instead of doing it with the dribble. I think that is the main element of what's changed so much. These guys aren't taking a lot of time when they get touches. They're making a decision like that. When they catch it, when they rebound it, something's happening. Am I looking up the floor to an outlet? Am I looking to the next guy in the corner for a three? Spray outs on dribble drives after 1 or 2 seconds on the ball. These are very split-second decisions, and I think that part of it as well as the read and react as far as what Kenny's looking for, and these guys just making decisions on a whim. And you just brought it up with Darius Garland on the read option, so to speak, whether he's going to use it as a pocket pass to Jarrett Allen on a roll, or he's going to go floater off high glass, or if he's just going to, attack and spray it out to the corner in the other side, on the weak side. There's just so many options that come out of that particular set when Darius does run high pick and roll. You look at Darius's pull-up rate right now. You look at Donovan's pull-up rate. They're getting shots 22, 21, 20 seconds into the shot clock. Or actually it's the opposite. They're getting shots up at that time with 22 seconds, 21 seconds, 20 seconds on the shot clock. So excuse me there, but it's been huge for them to get these attempts off quickly. And something sticks out to me in the box score, man, is they shot 97 attempts tonight. The Lakers had 77. You think of that and you're like, oh, well, they must have had a ton of offensive rebounds. No, that wasn't the case. They just got way up and down the floor better. They were quicker. They were more agile. They were quicker to the point of attack. And their second unit just absolutely destroyed the Lakers, as, I predicted earlier. like the second unit just gave them a completely different look. Karis LeVert was outstanding. He had 6 assists in the first quarter. Are you kidding me? And then ended up scoring 16 points on the night, went 4 of 6 from 3. This guy's been terrific. We don't talk enough about Jarrett Allen. I'll continue to say it every single time we do one of these. We do not talk about Jarrett Allen enough. His rim protection, his reliability around the rim. Mikey Lucas from Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show had a great question earlier to Donovan Mitchell about Jarrett Allen and mentioned that he actually has the same amount of block shots as he has missed shots this year. Think about that. So wow. I think he's missed 9 shots and he has 9 blocks. So that one's interesting because he's just so reliable around the paint to finish. And then my favorite probably part of the game is when it was out of hand was Evan Mobley goes into the third quarter with 8 points and 4 rebounds and finishes with 25 because he's just literally in there like it's a Little Tykes hoop and just dunk, layup. They're going. The Lakers were going zone, so he was just having a field day down there and just scored every bucket he could possibly have in sight. So very fun day for the Cavs. And what spoke to me was when the Lakers were trying to cut it down. I think they got it down to 16 or something like that. Cavs would always have a response, man. Response runs are the biggest part of basketball. Is way to kind of stave off momentum, and the Cavs did that tonight in many times in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, you covered a lot there, and I think that certainly speaks to just the way this team is playing right now offensively, what you're seeing from this group. And yeah, I think it's funny, like you bring up Evan having late in the game getting most of his points. He had some early foul trouble, so did Darius Garland tonight, but it almost feels like in different phases, different people kind of take over, and everyone's okay with that. Like Donovan started the game, as you mentioned, so hot. He had 13 points, like right off rip. 13 of the first 20 points scored were all him, and he ended that first quarter with the 13 points. He had 2 steals, 3 assists, and 1 rebound. And it was like, oh, okay, so this is going to be Donovan's game. But then you get to the end of the game and you get to the final box score, and he didn't even finish as the top scorer because Evan Mobley had those buckets late in the game. He had 25 points. He had 1 better than what Mitchell had tonight. Like, that's so bizarre.
It's a bad beat for someone who bet that.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, they got to be pretty mad about that if they were betting it, especially if they were betting Donovan Mitchell in real time.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy how and it's I don't know. I don't know that it's surprising totally to us. Because we knew that there was a lot of potential with Kenny Atkinson sort of taking the reins here, but to see it playing out in real time and see this team, maybe there were so many questions about, do they need to blow it up, do they need to change a lot of things, and to actually see the fruits of the labor here when it comes to, hey, this is the same group that JB Bickerstaff had, and just you're seeing the implications of somebody who has a different vision for the same roster. And it's a beautiful thing to see it play out the way it is on the court and to the level of success that the Cavs are having. And that's not to say like they won't have bumps in the road along the way, but at least like the early returns on this thing, man, are like they are, if they're playing like this, they certainly can be a contender in this Eastern Conference. And it's got to be a really exciting thing just 5 games in, but it still is a cool thing to sort of witness in real time.
They scored 130 again. One.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is they're keeping their defensive identity. The amount of times that they tried Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley or tried perimeter defenders to try and get to the hole, they just got denied. And half the time the Lakers just got cheapy fouls called for them. And Isaac was great tonight. Probably his best game of the season so far, still coming along on the offensive end, but at least he hit a 3. They're going to go to him in certain matchups like that. Dean's been terrific all year. DG's playing the passing lanes when there's ball pressure. But I mean, Jarrett, Evan, Kenny actually talked about how he's switching more with Jarrett now than maybe we've been used to seeing. So he's switching almost like the way that Evans switched his entire career, because Jarrett can defend 1 through 5 pretty much, and has the foot speed and just kind of the body and the lateral quickness to do it. And he's really good on those baiting guys into layups and trying to block them from behind. But he fed a couple of leather sandwiches tonight, I'll tell you what, man. And he's been just terrific as an anchor for this team defensively.
Yeah, he denied
Evan
Rui
too.
Hachimura in that one play, I remember, which was pretty insane, early in the first half. That was a good one. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, maybe another way to put this too is just you see a coach who truly like believes in these guys and sees sees the potential in all of them, and the vision is playing out on the floor. We talked about it, Spence, during the game, like their defensive rating from last year to this year has only dipped a few points, but their offensive rating has like skyrocketed. And again, small sample size, I get that. But that's pretty telling, because the best teams every year are usually the teams that are like top 10 in both of those, like that have a good defensive rating and a good offensive rating. Those are the teams that are true title contenders, and the Cavs are very much in that category right now. So like, and something that we're sort of curious about to this point, their shots per game last year were like, I think it was 87 point something per game. This year so far, it's actually down a few shots, 84 shots a game. But like you said, 97 shots tonight. So I'm guessing like over time, that's going to increase. Like it's going to go gradually up, because you can just tell like with the pace they're playing, they're going to get more shots up naturally. And that's just going to be sort of a natural thing that plays itself out. But even still, it's just the fact that like in some ways they're getting more quality shots because they're pushing and they're getting out in front of the defense. And so that makes it a little bit easier as well. But also because they're making those extra passes, guys are more open for easier looks. So it's all kind of like this in sync, uniform thing where when they're out there playing together, they're playing off of each other, and it's beautiful basketball to watch. It really, really is.
It's a great point for you to say quality shots, because I think that's what we're seeing more of with each game, and it's more efficient. I think that's also
that's the word I was looking for, was efficient.
Yeah, no, but shot quality is huge, because you consider, and this is based on philosophy. Like there was a play where Sam Merrill got pass. He's waiting on the wing, and I think it was him versus 2 defenders, and he shot a 3. That was somewhat contested. He missed it, but that is kind of the style they want to play. They want to play up tempo. When they have that spread lineup in there, it's all bets are off. Autobahn, as Kenny Atkinson says. The big lineups in there, maybe it's a little bit slower, maybe it's a little bit more deliberate, and they're still passing the ball around, but there's a little bit more of a generation type of thing. Like they're trying to generate shots more than they're trying to get them up in the other lineup or something like that. Maybe I'm talking in circles on that one, but like, yeah, it's efficient, it's quality, and it's working on both ends right now, man. I mean, they forced a ton of turnovers again tonight, and got out in transition and really made LA pay, especially in the first couple quarters. So that's a big thing. And one more note too, as we're talking about teammates and everyone is chipping in, Ty Jerome randomly had 14 points and 5 assists.
Yeah.
No one even noticed that. He went 5 of 7 from the field. So, they're getting it from all angles right now, and it's truly fun to watch, and it's a different way to utilize the guys on the team and celebrating the depth and really the core four being all 4 of them in double digits. Darius Garland had 12 points and 10 assists. No one talks about that too because he was in foul trouble early and ended up playing through it pretty well and still ended up having a pretty good game. So we can give you all the examples around the box score. I feel like this is something that we're used to throughout the season so far, and I expect it to continue. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big win for the Cavs, and I guess that's kind of where I want to wrap. But I know it's 5 games. We can't get too far ahead of ourselves because it's a long season. But am I wrong in feeling like, Spence, this is a statement win for Cleveland, given like the parameters of this? Because listen, like, I know this Lakers team, this isn't LeBron in his prime, but he still is obviously playing at an incredibly high level, as we know. And I wouldn't say like this Lakers team is like the most talented team LeBron's ever played on or anything either. But we also know that LeBron gets up for these games. Like, he loves coming back to Cleveland and putting on a show for the fans that obviously still love him and for all he did here. And so to come out and like, and it's not the fact that they like won a game against LeBron, because I think we heard before the game LeBron's record against the Cavs is 19 was 19-3 coming in.
Oh yeah,
and so like he generally plays so well in these games that he just like wills his team to victory. And it wasn't just the fact that like the Cavs won the game, it's how they won the game. I mean, this was a rout tonight, dude. Like,
almost wire to wire.
And it wasn't close for most of the game. Like they had like a 20+ point lead pretty much from like the first quarter on. I mean, when they scored like, what was it, 42 points the first quarter?
42-23. Yep. That was
it's to me, like, that's as big of a statement as you can make at this point in the season. There's going to be other times where they got to prove some things and make some statements, but like, if you're looking for signs that like this thing's working, I think tonight was kind of your first litmus test of, yeah, you had a big matchup with LeBron in town, and it's no longer like LeBron comes to town and they like cower in fear because it's LeBron and they just kind of got to kind of bow down to him because he's this great figure here in Cleveland. No. Like, this was a sign that like this organization is doing just fine without him. And maybe, they have their own sort of story to write here. I thought it was a cool thing to see that in this fashion, them win this game.
I'll give you that it was an indication. I don't want to say statement because we're literally a week into the season. So
why are you trying to rain on the parade, Spence? Come on.
I'm not raining on the parade. If you wanted me to say something, then I think Monday was more of a statement win than this one, because they won at the Garden, and it was because they were trailing.
The lights weren't too bright.
This one they were in control of pretty much the entire way. And again, I don't think the Lakers are as deep as they are, so that's not exactly surprising. I guess the more surprising thing is that the starting unit for the Lakers outside of LeBron and AD didn't really play as well as you would figure. But credit the Cavs because they've been on the right track doing this the whole time. So I'm not going to go as far as statement, like that's just a little too cliche, a little too early for that, in my opinion. But there's a lot of good going on for them there. There's vibes all in the locker room. There's all sorts of just happiness around this, and they're having fun. That's the biggest part of this, and that's the fun right there. Like, it's just they're enjoying it. They're enjoying the ride, and they're not satisfied. Like, Kenny went straight to coach talk in postgame. He was like, "Yeah, we fouled too much tonight." So so he goes to that. And the irony too about this was beginning of the day when he was talking about the Cavs offense and how successful they've been. He's like, "Yeah, we're shooting over our heads a little bit right now." And they go out and they hit 6 of their first 8 threes, and they wind up going 17 of 41 from deep. So I don't know, is it sustainable? Who knows? I for right now it is. So keep doing it, keep shooting the shots, and the results will come.
Leave it to Spin to rain on the parade, guys. Sorry. I tried to inject some joy, and Spin is just here to rain on. I'm just kidding.
You got Orlando coming in Monday.
Yeah, that's Friday. A big one.
That's a big one. You got Milwaukee in a home away or an away home set
yep.
as well. So, I mean,
Still some big
maybe
games. Yeah.
can get there. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe you
no,
can
for
get there.
sure. Let's just wrap with your thoughts on Bronny's reception. He got his first. He can always say he got his first NBA bucket back in Cleveland, where he used to watch his dad play all the time, and certainly he's plenty familiar with. I thought the reception was good. They played a little tribute video for him. I didn't expect anything less from the Cleveland fans, but I know elsewhere around the NBA, the whole Bronny thing is a touchy subject. I didn't think it was here, but I figured it will be elsewhere.
It was a raucous, dude. It was a raucous reception, man. That was fun. You know, like you just heard the "We Want Bronny." It's garbage time at this point in the game. The Cavs are up 20 plus. You know, what else is there to do if you're a fan? You're already happy that your team's winning, so may as well see, you know, the kid that grew up down the street in Akron and was the son of the king. So it was cool to just kind of hear the "We Want Bronny," and then obviously he got his first bucket. Yeah, I do have a funny little anecdote. The Cavs were kind of razzing Jalen Tyson because he did defend Bronny on that shot that he was going over. There was a ball screen called, and Jalen ended up getting the assignment, and he was he was a good sport about it, but he was just like, nah, man, this isn't fair. I'm gonna be everywhere on TV tonight because it's Bronny's first points ever. Think about that. And Bronny's first points ever as a professional basketball player in the NBA in Cleveland, Ohio, right where his father did so many special things. So it's a big moment for him. You know, you're happy for him, and that's a really cool story. And everybody was supporting him.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you stopping on in. I know it's late, especially on a Thursday night or a Wednesday night. But hey, I mean, it's Halloween week. People are out doing their thing, having some fun. Maybe people are off work tomorrow. I don't know. But we appreciate you jumping on in with us. And as you know, you can find us most nights after Cavs games. I'm sure we'll be doing something on Friday in some capacity. And you can keep on following along, as we always encourage you, at the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI YouTube channel. Spence has all the post-game press conferences, commentary from Cavs players, coaches, and more over there. And of course, head on over to si.com/NBA/Cavaliers, where you can check out any of our written content from today, from the game, from post-game, and otherwise. We appreciate you, as always, jumping on in. For Spencer Davies, I'm Spencer German. And we encourage you to keep on following along with all your Cavaliers coverage with the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI.